Please be advised that while IAU offers guidance on applying for the Optional Practical Training, OPT, this assistance does not constitute legal advice, and F1 students bear the sole responsibility for submitting accurate and complete application documents to USCIS. IAU cannot guarantee the outcome of any OPT application or be held responsible for any request for evidence, RFEs, issued by USCIS. F1 students acknowledge and accept that they hold ultimate responsibility for their OPT application and must ensure compliance with all applicable regulations. Hello and welcome to our IAU OPT application guide. Today I will go through the online OPT application, the I-765 application for employment authorization, and show you how to answer all of the questions, how to upload your documents so that you can conveniently and fully apply for the OPT. Here I have just logged into my account, my USCIS account. So you would go to uscis.gov and click sign in, then you would sign in. Once you're in, the landing page can look a little bit different, but essentially you would need to find home or go to my USCIS. Up here in my account, you would click file a form online. And you would then scroll down and select the I-765 application for employment authorization. Then you see some information about the application that you're going to fill out. You can read and click Start Form. Here again, some information: who is eligible to apply, what are the fees, what documents you will have to provide, etc. You can read through it, click Next. Here is another page of information, disclosures, and finally Start Form at the bottom. All right, now you're in the I-765 application for employment authorization, or OPT application. You see the menu here on your left side. This is everything that you will have to fill out and the documents that you will have to upload. If you exit the application at any time, the answers that you've provided and the documents that you've uploaded will be saved, so you can go back and complete it at a later time. What is your eligibility category? You would select C3B, Student Post-Completion OPT. Would you like to apply and request premium processing? Premium processing guarantees a response from USCIS within 30 days. It has an additional cost of $1,685 at the time of recording of this video. You can check the USCIS website for the most updated fees. If you would like to request premium processing, you can click yes. If not, you can click no. Yes. On this page, what is your reason for applying? You would select initial permission to accept employment. And this question: have you previously filed Form I-765? Have you previously applied for OPT? Yes or no? If you were denied, if you have applied and were denied, you would still check yes. If you've applied for OPT at a previous educational level, it would be yes as well. If you have never applied for OPT, then you would click no. For the sake of the argument, we will just select yes. Is someone assisting you with this application? You can say no unless you're working with an interpreter or maybe with an immigration attorney helping you complete it. Otherwise, you can select no. Here is the section called About You. So it is essentially personal information. You should go ahead and complete it and make sure that the information matches your passport. Have you used any other names since birth? For example, if you are married and this is your married name, you can click yes and provide your maiden name. Or if you've ever changed your name, then you would say yes and list any other names that you've previously used. If you have never used any other names, you would click no and then click next. How may we contact you? Here you can enter your cell phone number, and then you will click here. My mobile telephone number is the same as my daytime telephone number, and it will populate it. Your email address will already be automatically populated from the email that you used to create the account. What is your current US mailing address? This is a very important question. This is the address that USCIS will use to mail your EAD card to. So you want to be sure that you're not planning on moving and that you can receive mail there for the foreseeable future. I would recommend at least a few months, at least 3 or 4 months. You can choose a relative or friend, a trusted third party to enter their mailing address and receive the EAD card for. You need to be sure that that person can safely receive mail and deliver it to you. If you are using someone else's mailing address, you can enter their name right here. If it is your own mailing address, you don't have to enter any name in the section in care of. In the address line 1, you would enter the street address. If there is a unit number or an apartment number, you can enter it in line 2. Then the city or town, state, and zip code. Once you've entered the mailing address, as soon as you click away, you will see this pop-up that automatically shows up between the original address and the recommended address. If the recommended address looks fine, you want to select the recommended address. You might see a bit of a longer zip code right here, and that is normal. That is the way that USPS has it formatted. So again, if the address looks good, go ahead and use selected address. Is your current mailing address the same as your physical address? You would answer yes if this is your physical address where you live, and that's also where you're requesting to receive your EAD card. If you have entered a relative's or a third party's mailing address, you would click no, and then you would be prompted to use, there you go, let me show you. If you click no, then it will ask you to enter the address where you live, your actual physical address. But if it is the same as your mailing address, then you can just go ahead and click yes right here. And then next. What is your gender, marital status, place of birth, your state or province of birth. If your country does not have any state or provinces, you don't have to answer anything there. And then your country of birth. You select it from the drop-down menu. You enter your birth date, again, matching your passport. What are the countries in which you hold citizenship? Select it from the drop-down menu. What is your Form I-94 arrival departure record number? To find this, you would have to have your OPT application documents ready. You can go ahead and open your I-94, and it would be this number right here. We're using a sample document, so the number is hidden, but you would copy that number right there from your I-94 and enter it here. When did you last arrive in the United States? It should also show right here, October 17th, 2018. October 18th, 2018. Place of arrival. So this is not going to show right here. If you remember the airport that you flew into or where you entered the US, maybe it is Los Angeles. You can go ahead and select Los Angeles, CA. If you are not sure where you arrived last in the United States, you can go ahead and go to retrieve your I-94. Just the way you proceeded to obtain your I-94, there's another form called travel history. You can click that and then see the last point of entry. Status at arrival. Maybe you were already F1 when you arrived, but if you arrived on a different status and after being in the US you change statuses, you would go ahead and put the status at your last arrival. So right here, for example, class of admission, F1. You enter it here. Then what is your passport number? For the passport number, you would enter the most recently issued passport. Let me clarify this. Your passport needs to be valid for at least 6 months from the moment that you apply for OPT. If you had a previous passport, if your visa is in the previous passport, that's okay. You just need to enter the most recently issued passport number. What is your travel document that you can leave blank? And then what is the expiration date of your passport? Again, you want to make sure that it is expiring in at least 6 months from the date of your application. What country issued your passport or travel document? It would be your country of citizenship. I have questions from students asking, I renewed my passport at the embassy, maybe the French embassy here in Los Angeles. Does it count as United States or as France? The embassy or consulate counts as your country of origin of citizenship. So you would put that country, not the United States. And what is your current immigration status? It should be F1. What is your CVIS number? If you're not sure, you can locate it on your I-20. Next. What is your A number? Your A number, if you were previously approved for OPT or you have received a previous EAD card, employment authorization document, that would be your A number. If you have never applied for OPT before, you have never received an EAD card, you would click I do not have or know my A number. What is your USCIS online account number? For some students, a number might already be populated there. If it is, that's okay, leave it. If there's no number showing there, you can click I do not have or know my USCIS number. Here, has the Social Security Administration, SSA, ever officially issued a Social Security card to you? In other words, do you have an SSN number? Yes or no? If yes, you will be prompted to enter your Social Security number. Do you want the SSA to issue you a Social Security card? If you already have one, you never need to apply for a new one or update it. So you can go ahead and click no. Now, if you have lost your SSN card, or if you have never received a SSN during your time as an F1 student, then you would click yes. You would have a few more steps to complete, and essentially this would be your Social Security number or your Social Security number application. You would apply for a Social Security number at the same time as you apply for OPT. The USCIS would share that information with the SSA office for them to process and issue a SSN for you. You would then receive your SSN card in the mail about 2 weeks after you receive your EAD card. Here you would need to consent for disclosure, and you would need to enter your parent's name. I'm putting something blank, but you would enter your parent's name, father's name, and mother birth name. Now we're getting to the section called evidence. This is where you're going to be uploading your documents. We're here in the 2x2 photo. Make sure that your photo meets all of the requirements. The photo upload will show you if there's a clear error or problem with your photo. However, seeing it passing does not mean that you are not subject to an RFE for your photo. Let me say this one more time. You go ahead and upload your photo. You can see if your photo passed the requirements. It is a good indication as to whether you have provided a good photo for your OPT application, but you must make sure that it meets all of the requirements listed up here to avoid getting an RFE. Next, we are on the Form I-94, Arrival and Departure Record or Passport page. You will go ahead and upload your Form I-94. That is if you came to the US as an F1 student. You would then select Form I-94 right here in the document type. Again, that is if you came to the US as an F1 student. If you came to the US on a different status and had a change of status to F1, then you would not upload that I-94. You would go ahead and upload your Form I-797 approval notice for change of status. If you take a look at this form, the bottom section has your updated I-94. And so this is what you would upload there. Again, if you came as F1, you would, however, just go ahead and upload your regular Form I-94 and go to the next page. Here we are on the Employment Authorization Document or Government ID page. Employment Authorization Document is an EAD card. If you were ever approved for OPT in the past, or if you received an EAD card from a different employment authorization, for example, severe economic hardship or anything else, you will go ahead and upload a copy of your EAD card right here. We then want you to go ahead and upload your passport here. So any previous OPT or any previous EAD card you upload here, a passport copy. Now, if you entered the US with a different passport than this one, here is your valid passport. If you entered the US with a different passport, you can also upload a copy of that passport here. And lastly, go ahead and upload your visa, whether it's an F1 visa or a different visa, whatever you used to enter the US last. And click Next. Previously authorized CPT or OPT. If you have done any CPT previously to applying, whether with IAU or any other schools, you would need to upload your signed CPT I-20s. If you've done any OPT in the past, you would also need to upload your previous OPT I-20s. Do not upload on this page the OPT recommendation I-20 that we have sent to you for this current OPT application. This will be on the next page. I would upload my 2 previous CPT I-20s right here. Click Next. All right, this section is Form I-20. This is where you're going to be uploading your OPT recommendation I-20s. And now add a response. If you have done any previous CPT or OPT, we would ask you to add a response and just clarify a little bit more what you did in the past. So you would select the evidence section, the previously authorized OPT or CPT, previously authorized CPT or OPT, and you could write, for example, part-time CPT from 01/02/2023 to 04/21/2023. This information has to match your previous CPT I-20s. If the information does not match, please ask a DSO how you should answer that question. Save response. And let's say I have done a second CPT. I would do another response, select evidence, previously authorized CPT or OPT, and I would write the information about my second CPT. We are now in the additional information section. We've entered our previously authorized CPT or OPT information. Now, if you ever were in the US with a different CVIS ID, so a different I-20, different CVIS ID, you would need to indicate that previous CVIS ID as well. So you would click Add a Response. You would select About You, your immigration information, and what is your CVIS number, if any. And here you would go ahead and enter any previous CVIS ID number. If you've answered all of the questions in this section, you can go ahead and click Next. You will be taken to a review section. You will see that the fee currently it is $470. Alerts and warnings. It's good if it shows a green mark saying that they have found no alerts or warnings in your application, but you still want to be sure to review everything on the next page and make sure that all the questions that are answered and all of the documents are uploaded. This is what your review page will look like. You can see all of the answers that you've provided and the documents that you have uploaded. You see a lot of questions that have no answers, and that is completely normal. For example, those particular questions, what is your degree? What is your employer's name in E-Verify? Those only apply for those applying for the STEM OPT extension. So the question still shows, but it doesn't show any answer. Again, that is normal. You need to take a look at the answers that are there and make sure that they're complete. You can find again about you, all of your information, contact information, address, and your documents. You want to make sure that you have uploaded the correct and full documents. If you click them here, it will just download them to your computer for you to open them and double check them. If you've reviewed everything and it looks correct, you can click Next. If you see any mistakes, you would scroll all the way back up. And here you would select the section in which you need to make an adjustment. Maybe in About You, you entered your name incorrectly. You would go back there and update the information as needed. If everything is entered correctly, you go ahead and click Next. You have a couple of acknowledgements to make. Feel free to read the applicant's declaration and certification. You need to sign with your full name. And you're then going to be taken to a payment link for you to pay and submit your application. Please note that once you make payment, your application is submitted and you're not able to make any modification to the address, to the documents that you've sent, or the answers you've provided. So be sure that it is complete before you click next. On the other hand, your application is not submitted until you have made payment. So if you have completed everything, don't think that your application is submitted. It is only submitted after you get a confirmation that your payment went through and that your I-765 was submitted. Go ahead and click Pay and Submit. It will take you to a separate payment link for you to go ahead and enter your debit or credit card information. When you successfully make payment, complete your application, make payment, and submit your I-765, this is the message that will appear on your screen. You successfully submitted your I-765. If you see anything else than this message, it probably means that your application was not successfully submitted. So you want to make sure that this is what you see at the end. When you go back to your home page after successfully submitted your I-765 OPT application, this is more or less what you should see. The I-765 right there, you would have a receipt number, the day that it was submitted, and a case status. Here you can see case was received and the receipt notice was sent. And as USCIS makes progress on your application, this case status would be updated. All right, so that was for the OPT application. Now, let me just show all of the OPT application documents so the students can know what documents they have to upload in each section. Here are the application documents that you will need to apply for the I-765. You will need your I-94. This is what it looks like. If you arrive on a different class than F1, then you would need to upload your I-797, notice of action, approval notice for your change of status. At the bottom of this page, this is what we call an updated I-94. So this is the document that you would upload in lieu of your I-94. You will need your passport. This should be pretty straightforward. Just a passport copy picture page. You will need your visa, whether it is F1 or not. You need the visa that you use to enter the US. If it is expired, it's okay. If it's a different class than F1, that's okay too. Then you will need any previous CPT I-20s. This is what a CPT I-20 will look like. On page 2, you would have your CPT record, whether it's part-time or full-time, and the start and end date. You want to make sure that it is signed by a DSO and by yourself and dated as well. If you have previously completed OPT, you would have an OPT form I-20. Again, a signature from a DSO and your own signature and date, and post-completion OPT on page 2. You would also need to upload your EAD card from your previous OPT. Here is what the EAD card looks like. And lastly, your OPT recommendation I-20. Again, this is what it looks like, signed by a DSO. You need to sign and date as well. And it will show your post-completion OPT in requested status with a start and end date.